Hey, welcome to JG3 Reviews. My name is James and I review fountain pens, writing instruments, and related things. And today I do have a pen that I want to review for you, but before I show you the pen, I want to give you a little bit of background information. Part of my quest in my pen collection, and I kind of look at it as a collection. Have something unique about it. Well, my collection is that I'm really working toward filling in a map of the world. Now, of course, not all countries produce fountain pens, and so there are going to be big gaps. But I'm kind of trying to fill in as many pens on my pen map. That's hard to make a difference when you're from Texas, between pen and pen. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, I'm trying to fill in the map with pens from all over the world. And so there was one from the country of Turkey that I heard about a while back through Galen Leather company, and they're the distributor for these pens. And I decided, I need a pen from Istanbul, Turkey. I think that would be really, really cool. So I added it to my list of places on the map that I really wanted to get a pen from. And they were out of stock and out of stock and out of stock. And then I checked just a few weeks ago, several weeks ago, and guess what they had back in stock? And this is the Scrikss fountain pen, the model 419, and it finally came in after a little bit of a paperwork, red tape, whatever you want to call it, trying to get it in the country because FedEx wanted to know what dangerous chemicals I might be trying to smuggle into the United States. Well, none. It's just a fountain pen, but I had to document this. And so it finally got out of jail and came to my house a couple of weeks ago. And I'm really enjoying this pen. It's familiar, but not a copy. It may be not even an inspired by. It's an interesting pen, but the Scrikss from Turkey is our subject today. Let's just jump right in. We're going to look at design, what I like, what I don't like, and all that good stuff. But let's flip that camera and give you a closer look at the Scrikss 419. Okay, let's take a look at the Scrikss, but before we get to that, I forgot to mention in the intro, I've got a bonus. I also ordered at the same time Galen Leather's leather single pen pouch, and this is so that I can carry a fountain pen. I have some that don't have clips, but they're too easily damaged, just throwing in a pocket. They're really not pocket pens, and so I wanted something to protect them. I looked at Galen Leather thinking, I bet they've got just what I need, and they did. And so I ordered one of these, and it's just very, very simple. It's big enough that I don't think you could possibly get a pen that's going to be too big for this. And of course, this is handmade. Galen Leather is a company that hand makes their leather products in Istanbul, Turkey, and just really well done. That is a sturdy zipper, really nice. You can already tell it's starting to get leather patina. That's okay, because my goal for this is for it to take the damage and not my pens, and of course it's doing an awesome job of that and smells great while it's doing it, and I'm really, really liking that. The only thing better would be if I could get something like this from M.L. Letty in San Angelo, Texas, where I grew up. Those of you who know saddles know who I'm talking about. Okay, it comes in this nice big box, and one of the things I thought was cool about it, they give you a little bit of history of their company in there and all of that good stuff, but they also do just a little gift pouch thing. That's kind of cool. I didn't expect anything. This is my first purchase through Galen Leather, but I thought it was cool, and what's in it I like. So first, there is, this will be for my wife, I think, but this is, let's turn it to the English side here, a lavender refreshing towel. Actually, I said my wife. My daughter really likes lavender. I think she'll like that even more. Then there is, and I'm keeping this to myself, don't tell them that it's here, Earl Grey tea, and I decided, really, any company that sends me Earl Grey tea is good on my list, because I've been drinking that stuff longer than the Star Trek fans. And then they also have a pouch of Turkish coffee, so that's cool. I'm definitely a coffee guy. I'm going to be trying that out too. And last but not least, let's see if I can dig it out of there, is an evil eye. And I won't go into all of what that little charm is about, but they explain it. You can Google it. They explain it on a card that comes in the box with it. So there is that. I'm actually most excited about the tea and the coffee. Of course, that makes total sense, right? after the pen. So when you get your Scrikss fountain pen, it comes in a really, I like their style. Just a cool box, a little cardboard box and sleeve. I like the design on that sleeve. And then, very simply, in this cardboard box and protective foam. Nothing's going to happen to that pen while it's traveling over here. I can guarantee you that. You'd have to try really hard. But I bought, but it can be damaged by the guy doing the review. I got mine in basic black, but they offer several colors, and I'll put a photo up here so that you can see what kind of colors that they offer in. But I actually wanted a black and gold pen. That's what I was in the mood for. Something simple and classic, and that's what I got. So let's look at the design first, and let me grab a couple of pens over here to compare while I'm thinking about it. We'll look at that in a second. The design may look a little familiar, and I don't say that like this is a copy of something. I don't believe it is. It's just, it's a bit familiar, and the form factor is one that makes it, I think that's probably a part of what makes people think of a Pelican, whether it be the 200 or 100. It looks like smaller Pelican pens, but there are differences as you put them up next to each other. That's clearly not what this is. But let's take a look at the design overall. This is, first off, a piston-filled pen. And I've got ink in it, so I'm not going to twist this, but it does have a piston. This is not a cartridge converter pen. I like that. Not everybody likes piston pens. I'm not sure what all their reasons are, maybe ease of cleaning or something, but I like them. And all those I have are reliable, and I have plenty of bottled ink, so that's not a barrier. So I'm a fan of piston-filled pens, and this one is nicely done. It is very light, and I'll measure that for you here in a second. When you look at the cap up close, you'll see that it says Scrikss on this side, and as you come around, it says Scrikss on that side, and then you come around, and oh, what do you know? Well, it just says Scrikss, doesn't it? Twice. 2 or 3 times? I wasn't even counting, was I? Maybe 3. But this is a plastic resin pen. It does have the Scrikss logo on the clip. It's a stamped steel clip like so many pens. Good and sturdy, no problems there whatsoever. Very, very simple cap design with just a plain black finial, well, not even really a finial, just a smoothed over top of the cap, end cap. Very, very simple, classic design, and I like it. Sometimes, some days, simple is just the way to go. And it does, by the way, post very easily and very securely. No issues there whatsoever. I do like the way that this cap ring is beveled. You see that? And I really like that. When you put the pen together, probably a little bit easier to see, makes for a nice design. So, like I said, very simple, classic, reminiscent of a Pelican pen, but not like a Pelican pen. It is different. I like it, and it is piston-filled, and that probably makes people think of the other pen as well. One other thing that it has in common, but actually I like this better than some, is its ink window. It is a nice, clear ink window, easy to see. I have some blue Lamy ink in there right now because that's what I had at my desk when I got the pen, and I wasn't waiting until I got home. Gold tone nib. It is a steel nib, and this is a medium. Has the logo, which you can see there. Breather hole, plastic feed. A fairly typical steel nib with the gold tone. I find that this one writes well. I do like it. The number one thing about this pen that I think you notice first off is actually, besides the style, when you pick it up, is the weight. This is a very light pen. And let me see here. I can't remember off the top of my head, so let's just go ahead and put it on the scale. This is, what have I got there? 0.42 ounces, and then that would be, I'm not going to switch in my head, 12 grams. That's what I was thinking. 12 grams, and that is partially filled. You could see that it was not full because I've been using this pen in some of my studies this week, and I took a ton of notes the other day with it, and so I've used a lot of ink. But 12 grams, partially Piston-Filled. It is a really light pen, and I'll put the rest of the specs up there as well. And let me show you a style comparison. I mentioned the Pelikan, and I just got a used Pelikan in that I got off at eBay not too long ago. I got a fantastic deal on this pen, so that actually both these pens cost me about the same. Now this pen is more than 3 times this pen normally, even on a good day, but the day I got it, it was about a third. So these were about equal. Now you can see that there are some things that make people think, oh, that reminds me of a Pelikan when they see it, but there are also some stark differences. The clips are really nothing alike. The caps aren't either. See, this is just a smooth end cap, and this of course has that kind of crown bevel design, plus of course a logo at the top. This is not beveled, this is just straight where this is beveled. Do you see that? And so I liked that. On this a little bit better. Of course, this has a trim ring at the bottom. Different dimensions. They're not identical. This is a fairly light pen, but this is lighter. So, you know, there are similarities and there are differences. Let's pull off the cap. I only make this comparison because I noticed in conversations online about both pens, you know, how much alike they are, and they're really quite different. Much longer nib on the Pelikan, different section lengths. This one does not have the ink window. They are both piston fillers. This is larger in diameter, although only a little bit. And so similar, and they're probably not often cross-shot, I wouldn't think. Again, the Pelikan is a much more expensive pen normally, even though I got mine same price. That's not normal. There you go. Similar pen, similar in style, similar in size. Another pen that is really close is, in terms of size, is the Prera. Very similar in length, in diameter. The Prera is just slightly thicker, and the Prera is just slightly, maybe a little bit heavier, but not enough to really matter. And of course, their style is quite different. Lengthwise, because one of the nice things about the Prera is, you know, it becomes a regular length pen when you cap it, post it, but the Scrikss becomes even longer. So bigger difference there than when they're capped. When they're posted, the Scrikss is a lot longer, but a little bit narrower pen, skinnier pen. Really, of course, both of them are good. I used both of them in my work this week. All 3 of these pens. Excellent pens. You can't go wrong with any of these 3. This one, however, is actually quite close in price. So I think I got my Prera a little bit even cheaper. I know I got it on sale, but they're very close in their markets. So I would compare these 2 pens more than I would compare it to the Pelikan. And that gives you a little bit more difference. If you're looking for something that might be different from a Prera, this would be a great alternative. And it is a really good pen. So let's go ahead and jump into the writing test. All right, we're going to look and see how this pen writes. Here is a greater array of pens to help you kind of get a size comparison, just in case you don't have a Prera or a Pelikan. So that's the Prera and the Pelikan. I think those are the 2 pens that this one most closely aligns to in size, weight, writing, and things like that. That's what I would compare it to. Also, you know, somewhat close to a vintage Esterbrook J. This is the Parker Jotter. That is a Delight, and across Bailey Light. Studio, Wingsung, Lamy Safari. A lot of these are familiar pens. This is a Pilot High-Tech C Coletto multi-pen, totally customizable. And if you can't use a fountain pen and need to use a multi, that's one of the best ways to go. And then, of course, the Zebra Delgard pencil. So that gives you some more size comparison, just in case you don't have one of those other 2. It's always kind of a challenge to pick. You know, I wonder what they can compare to and what they would know that would be looking like. So I like this pen. It is light, and let me just say, sometimes people talk about light as a negative thing when it comes to fountain pens. I say that depends particularly on the pen. Light is not a sign of poor quality if the materials and build are high quality, and this one is. Light is only a sign of poor quality when it's badly made and it's cruddy materials. So that's not what we're dealing with this pen. In fact, I think it makes this pen an all-day, everyday pen. It is light to write with, it is comfortable to write with, it holds plenty of ink, and the nib, I think, is a good nib. And so I find it all to be pretty positive. So this is the Scrikss. You know what I did there, don't you? I misspelled that. I want to spell it the wrong way every time. Don't know what that's about. Scrikss 419. And this has a medium nib, and it's really quite smooth. I really do like it. The ink is nothing exciting today. As I said, I was using this to do notes for a class, and what was handy on my desk is the standard Lamy Blue. So not an exciting ink today, but not a bad ink. Let's just, while we're up there, test for wetness. So it's putting down a good amount of ink, but it's not messy or sloppy at all. I wasn't experiencing bleed through or anything like that as I took pages and pages of notes. No issues there. Let's see. I'm going to be quiet and let you hear. So it writes really well. I just find this an enjoyable pen. It keeps up. The flow is just no issue whatsoever. You're not going to get, just tremendous line variation out of this. Some pens I don't know why we even worry about bringing that up, but people ask, so there you go. Just a standard steel nib. I didn't have to do anything to it. I did no smoothing, no work whatsoever. You clean it and you ink it up and it's just ready to go. Really, really good pen that way. So I just like it. Let's see here. I think you can see that it's going to be the same no matter the angle. So just not bad at all. And what I like about this pen are two things. One, well, there's more than two. One is the lightness. I find that in this pen, that is a strength. It's kind of that smaller, like the Pelican. This is wow, let me knock my camera over. That's a fairly light pen. It looks, if you're not familiar with it, never handled one, you'd think it'd be heavy, but it's light. The Prera, which, I'm just curious. Let me see here. Sorry, this is off camera. Yeah, the Prera is 4 grams heavier. It's 16 grams total and 0.56 ounces. So the Prera, and I think that this is filled, although no, it's almost empty. I used it a lot the other day too. So this is the heavier pen by 4 grams than the Scrikss. Both of them are great, light, easy, pocketable pens. Shirt pocketable. Some pens are a little too long for that. These are not, depending on your shirt. I just really like the pen. I like the ink window. I like the style. I like that it comes from Turkey. I like things from around the world, and that's part of my buying decision in this pen. Something different. It's not just, even though it's a classic design and a fairly standard design, where it comes from and the brand and the history and all that, it's just all very different from most of what you're going to see. I think because of Galen's presentation, it's not over the top. It's a good, economical, biodegradable, all that good stuff. But they've done a great job in their presentations. So I think this is a great gift if you're looking for a gift pen for someone. Like I said, they have several different colors to fit whoever that is, their personality. I like it. It's an everyday carry pen. It's one they're going to use. And that matters more to me than a pen that is so delicate you can't take it anywhere, or so heavy that it weighs down your shirt pocket, or so long it doesn't fit in your pocket or your purse or whatever. It's just a good everyday size. And so I like it. I like it. And I enjoyed writing with it, and the smoothness of the nib is really great in the price range. It's very competitive, I would say. Are there any negatives? I've had no issues with the pen. So in terms of function, I've had 0 negatives at this point in ownership, which it's fairly new, but I've had no malfunctions whatsoever, no leaks, no drips, no burps, no nothing. The nib is very good for one in this price range out of the box. So what would I find that I don't like? The price is a little high, I think, for it's in that Lamy Safari, Lamy All-Star range, Prera range. And if you've watched the channel long enough, I have these pens, but I don't necessarily like that I spent that much for them. I feel like they're all just a little bit more than they ought to be, but not prohibitively so. Maybe my only criticism is that because it is kind of a classic style, which I like, some people are going to find that that's just kind of, there. It's not a, oh wow, look at that kind of a pen. It's just not. It's not, it doesn't have a wow resin. The nib is very good in its price range, but it's not like, rush out and give up lunch all week to get it or anything like that. It's just a good pen. But you know what? I love that we have so many choices of just a good pens. And that actually puts it ahead of a lot of pens. There are a lot of pens that ain't good pens. This one's a good pen, and I like it. So if that's your style, or if you have someone that you want to give them a pen that's in that style, you think that would be a good gift for them, I think it's excellent. I think their presentation is great. I really like that pen pouch that I ordered at the same time. And of course, they've got all kinds of other stuff, leather goods that you can buy, pen-related, pad-related stuff. So check them out. I really am impressed with their customer service. I'm impressed with what I got and the quality of it. And it's a good pen. I like it. So if that's what you're looking for, knock yourself out. God bless you, and have a great week.